Right. Uh, After the sitting practice, what we usually do is we start um, discussion and a talk. Um, so this is the time for that. There has been a request from the other group, from the Sinhala group, when I do the talk, if possible, to turn the video on. So I'm coming onto the stage now. Right. Hope you can see me. Don't get alarmed. Right. Um, our practice is to start the talk or for half an hour, and then start the question and answer session. But today I just thought of going the other way around to open up the Q&A session first and then go for the talk. So when we do the Q&A session or the discussion session, you have three options. One, you can straight away turn your mic on and then ask your question. And if you don't want to do that, if you want to stay anonymous, then you can send a chat to me. Hope you know how to send a chat. You can go to participants, and my name in the list, participant list, is Satipasala Down Under. If you click on that, or rather there is an arrowhead to the extreme right against that name, you just click on that and then it will show you chat. Then click that and write whatever question you have and send it to me so that I only will receive. So without telling your name, I will be able to read the question out and then answer that. Or the other option is I have already sent a chat with a Google form. You can use that Google form, and we usually ask the city and the name there. So you can write no name, or anonymous, anonymous, and then write your question or give your report on walking and sitting, and then we can discuss from there. So those are the options you have. So with that brief introduction of to the Q&A session, I will open the floor for questions. It's not necessary for you to turn your video on. Thank you.
Sir?
Yes, Hevin Pota, how are you?
Good, thank you, sir. I have a question about mindful sitting.
Yeah.
When I was mindfully sitting, I found myself falling asleep like in the first 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And then to try and wake myself up, what I did was I tried changing my position and tried breathing differently, and I found that worked. But is that the correct method for me to do that, or is there a better method?
When you are feeling sleepy, what you said was you change your posture and then started doing your breathing practice in a different way?
Yeah.
Okay, right. Can I ask why you did that?
Because when I try to concentrate during when I was feeling sleepy, I found it really hard to concentrate on my breath.
Okay.
So I changed my position and try to focus a little bit more on my breathing, making it just a little bit more heavier.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
Okay, so that's the word I was looking for. In other words, what you are trying to say is when you are feeling sleepy, your breath was not heavier.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in other words, since your main object has become subtler, you did not have anything to see, anything
Yeah.
to observe. As a result, you fell asleep.
Yeah.
And can I ask another question now? Are you 100% sure that you fell asleep, or you did not have anything to observe? As a result, you felt you were sleeping.
I think it's the second option, because like if I was sleeping, I wouldn't really be able to know that I was asleep.
Yeah.
But I was still aware, but like when I was sitting, when I just leaned a little bit forward, I just shook. It was like I was sleeping.
Yeah.
So I think, yeah, I was aware, but I was in like a little state of sleeping. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's in this report, the how you would have presented was you would have said you started your normal breathing practice, observing your whatever abdomen or the chest or the nostril, whatever, and then you were able to continuously keep your attention to the breath. And then after some time, it got subtler, it got lighter, right? So
Yeah.
that path, that process is very important, so that the listener knows that you have started a particular way and you have been observing continuously until such time the breath became subtler.
Yeah.
And after that, you will have to say, there was a point I was feeling asleep. Then it gives the listener that how his practice has progressed, his or her practice has progressed, right? But
Yeah.
having said that, this is how our mind is reporting. This is not your report, it's a report given by your mind, right? Mind is always trying to have something to admire, have something to entertain, right? Or trying to find something to complain,
Yeah.
right? So it's not your fault. It is how all the human beings work, right? So now, after listening to the correct way of presentation, now you know how to do it, right? That that
Yeah.
that provides the sequential path of your practice, right? So I'm coming to the question, right? So the question is, when you fall asleep or when you become aware that you have been in that sleepy state, um, when you became aware, you said you took your attention to the heavier breath,
Yeah.
right? And can I ask whether you took the attention to the heavier breath, or your your attention naturally came to the breath, and then you observed the breath was heavier? Which one is correct? Is my question clear?
Yes. I think um, I'm my breath became a bit more deeper because it was hard for me to concentrate on that
Mm.
shallow breath. So
Yeah,
then yeah, I
yeah.
started
So
to
go on.
focus on like a heavier breath.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So did you do that intentionally, or did that naturally happen when you became aware?
I think it happened intentionally. But
You did that intentionally.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Next time, when you do that, see whether it is intentionally happening or whether it is unintentionally, your attention is going to the breath. Right. Now, I'll take your answer that it has been done intentionally. What happens is when you come to that sleepy state, it's the state where you don't feel your breath. And all of a sudden, when you become a bit more alert and a bit more aware that your breath is not there, your system is anyway shaken now. It has changed from that subtle level to a gross level comparatively, right? So as a result, the breath that you feel will be heavy.
Yeah.
Right. So because you have not very closely monitored it, not very closely observed it, you don't know whether this is happening and intentionally or unintentionally. Right. So, but what happens is, because I'm not saying it's a bad thing, you're slightly agitated compared to the previous state.
Yeah.
So, because of that agitation, your breath has become grosser. So you feel that it is deeper and heavier.
Yeah.
Right. So, but it is natural. So the question is whether this is the correct thing or the right thing to do. Right.
Yeah.
There is no correct or wrong thing in this practice. This is what happened to you. This is what you have observed. And the question is whether you have really observed it or not. So you have seen that and you have observed it. So from the perspective of the mindfulness, there is nothing wrong. It's a natural phenomenon. And now you exactly, although you did not mention, but from questioning, you exactly have seen the path as well. So this has happened because of your continuous practice and continuous mindfulness, right? So now, you can, by observing the breath, you can go to a state where there is no breath, right? Now your challenge is to become aware of that state. When your breath becomes subtler, can you still be alert without the breath? Does it make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, you remember that gong sound? We say observe or listen to the gong sound, right? So long as the sound is there, you can keep listening, right? But sound is not there, still you can keep the ear faculty activated to listen. A similar thing can be done even in the breath. When you keep on observing the breath fades away. And you may be breathing, but still you can't see, you can't observe it. But still, although the breath is not there, your breath perception is not there, your observation can be continued. So that is the next challenge. So what you are saying is something that is happening in the practice. Now you know this is happening. So next time you will have to go prepared. I'm getting to this stage. In that stage, instead of nodding, can I be a bit more alert? Right? So try to see the point where you can't perceive the breath, where you fall into this sleep state. So you'll have to be a bit more alert than observing the breath. Right? So it's a good progress in the practice.
Yeah.
Yeah. And well done. And thank you very much for calling your friends as well. And thanks for joining, Ranmit. And Puta, I have forgotten your name.
Laveen.
Laveen, right. Thanks for joining. Does it make sense, Hivin, or you have any further question?
I understand, Mama. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Right.
Thank you.
Others have any questions?
Yes, sir. I've got a question for mindful walking. when you're mindful walking, and since we're walking on a carpet and the floor is quite, it's not very, it's very like the same, like the whole material is the same, everything's the same. So when you walk on it, you can't really feel any differences. So I was just wondering, is there anything else to focus on while you're mindful walking instead of your feet?
All right. Are you wearing socks?
Yeah.
Right. Right. One thing that you can do is you are aware that there is no special thing to observe. Right. So it is in a way similar to Hivin's question. In the case of Hivin's question, he did not have breath to observe. Similarly, in your case, you don't have variety to observe. If there is variety, if there is high pitch, low pitch, you can dance. But now, no such a thing, no positive, negative. It's just same rubbish. It's the same boring thing. Right? So your mind is asking for something new, something dramatic to observe. So it's once again, that's how our mind is working. That's how our mind is trying to get things. When it is the same thing, when it is boring thing, mind is asking for variety. Right? So now your challenge is, it is the same thing, but still I keep observing. Still I keep observing. Right? That's one thing I want to point out so far as how the mind is working. And your question was whether there is anything else to do, right? And to answer that question, can you tell me how you are observing your walking? Did you keep your attention to the sole of the foot, or any specific thing that you can tell me so far as your observation is concerned?
So initially I focus on my sole of the foot, so like the heel to toe, and then the temperature of that as well. But then since it got quite boring, I tried to focus on like the weight distribution, and then I just switched back.
Right. One thing that you can add there is you can start seeing the lifting, what you feel when you lift the foot, and then what you feel when you move the foot forward, and what you feel when you lower the foot down, and what you feel when you keep the foot down and then press the foot down. So the same process you can divide into 3 or 4 sections and get more and more closer to the different sections of the walking process. Right? That does not give you any variety. That makes it more boring. Right? So as I told Hivin, even here, while walking, it may be utter boring and you may fall asleep. Right? So when it is getting bored, you will have to be aware of that boredom and still keep walking. Still keep walking. If the boredom comes into the practice, maybe sitting or maybe walking, that is the good sign of the progress in the path. Because your mind is not asking anything that your eye wants to see, ear wants to hear, nose wants to smell, tongue wants to taste, body sensation, or body contacts, or even thinking. They are maybe there, but very weak. Right? So the mind is coming to the body. When the mind comes to the body, you feel bored. So it's a good sign of progress. Just keep practicing.
Thank you.
Thiruvan Saranai.
Thiruvan Saranai.
Anybody else? You can write if you want.
Mama,
Yeah.
we have another question. It's about observing in mindful sitting and walking. It's about, so like when we're walking and sitting, we can count how many steps we take or how many breaths we can take. Before, Mama, you said that we shouldn't do that and we should observe the breath and like the how we walk.
Yeah.
So should we keep doing that, or should we also observe the number of breaths and the number of steps that we take?
I mean, we sometimes ask us to take the count, right? That is just to encourage the participant to bring their attention to what they are doing. Now, in your case, attention is already there. And you are also experiencing the changing the breath and the change in the walking pattern, right? So in such instances, if you try to count, it becomes gross. So that natural pattern gets disturbed.
Yeah.
Having said that, what you can do is you can say, when I was observing my breath, say for example, tummy, I'm not quite sure where you are observing the breath. I can observe the breath in my tummy for about, say for example, 5 minutes, and then it starts getting subtler, right? Then you are giving some quantification. Instead of counting how many breaths exactly and how many steps exactly, you have a rough idea. It takes so much of a time for the object to start getting subtler.
Yeah.
And with that quantification, then you present the rest. So short answer is, when it is progressing naturally, don't count.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah. Everyone sarana.
Ansika, you have anything?
Hello, Uncle. I think you answered the question that I had. Because he even asked the same question. So I was in my sitting meditation. There was a time that I thought I fell asleep. Then I realized that moment, and it kind of shook me, and then I woke up.
Yeah.
And I couldn't really go back to the same place again, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Found it a bit hard to go back to the same place.
Yeah. So that's another deviation from Ivan's question. Did you try to go back to that place?
I did.
That's the only reason why you don't get there.
Okay.
In the practice, if we get some experience, the reason for that experience is providing the conducive conditions to have that experience. And you can't have any experience by trying.
Okay.
You can't have any experience by determination, by wishing for. Only thing that you should do is try as much as possible not to do anything, but just to observe.
Okay.
And you have done that, and it has happened once. And when it happens and you have tried to go to that state again, because it seems it's in between the lines, you like that place.
Yep.
And therefore you have tried to go there.
Yeah.
So when that happens, you agitate yourself with some desire and hard to reach. Right.
Okay.
So instead what you do is what you have been doing in the natural manner, just keep doing that, whether it happens or not doesn't matter. So it will come back.
Okay. Thanks.
Teruvan Saranai, and doing good.
Thank you.
Cool. I'll ask the question.
Yeah, you can go ahead.
It's about sickness. So if I remember last retreat, I was actually very sick during the retreat, and I didn't know because I just did all the normal timetable. And I realized how sick I was when I had to do like my cleaning duty. So I had to do some vacuuming. And as soon as I did the vacuuming, I felt really bad. So if I was at home, probably I would have been in bed, unable to move. And then I went back to my normal sort of timetable and it went away. So I'm sick again. Usually if I'm sick, I do like keep some timetable, but I've done probably not much meditation this time. In terms of when you're sick, what guidelines should you have for walking and sitting? Do you weigh it up or do you stick to a timetable?
Yeah. That's a very good question. Because a lot of people is looking for reasons not to practice. What the Buddha has told is, no matter what your conditions are, you continue your timetable as much as possible. Not exactly the same thing that you have been doing, but try your level best to do that. The reason for that is, when everything is going fine, everything is fine. There is no challenge. So, and you stop your practice or change your practice when things are going slightly differently, which means you have some expectations or some what do you call a preconceived notion that certain conditions should be there for me to practice. Right. So to challenge that, you practice whether you fall sick or whether you did not have a sleep last night properly, or whether you have some urgent thing to be done tomorrow. No harm. You maintain your timetable, you do under all the circumstances. The simple reason for that is, then only you can see how your mind, how your body functions and acts and reacts under different circumstances. And when you are sick, if you are practicing, that's a very, very good opportunity to see your mind and the body while you are sick. And if you don't practice when you are sick, then you simply lose that opportunity. So you can take that as, silver line so far as the practice is concerned. So I would say, don't be too harsh on you if you are really, really sick. But try to maintain, if you have been doing, when things are normal, 2 sessions, at least try to do 1 session, right? So that gives you an opportunity to see how what sort of things are happening within the body when you are sick. I mean, even I was sick in the last retreat. You should be able to remember. I was coughing 24/7. Possibly you may have caught it from me.
I remember, Uncle.
Yeah. So no matter changing conditions, keep practicing, because those changing conditions provide you an opportunity to see how your body and the mind works under such circumstances. So therefore, it's very important to continue the practice. Everyone, Saranai.
Thank you, Uncle. I'll give one observation. What happened? So when I did the walking, I was actually really sick. Like I probably would have, if there wasn't a sitting session after, I would have lied down. But anyway, I came and did the sitting. And then as soon as I do the sitting, even now, like I have no sickness. Like I'm perfectly fine. Which is interesting, because when I did the walking and sitting in the retreat, it was fine in both walking and sitting.
Yeah, so that's a very good observation. Even I have similar example. Not myself. When auntie falls sick, and when she falls, she really falls sick, because she stops working only when she can't get up. If she can get up, she will do everything. So even in such circumstances, what she does is, she somehow or other comes to the shrine room, and she keeps sitting for hours. She can't walk because she's so sick. She just keeps sitting for hours. And during that time, she said, she doesn't feel any sickness. So our body has fallen sick, but still we can keep our mind healthy. When you come and sit down, you don't feel sickness, because you go to a stage, most probably beyond our body, beyond our materiality. So if you go beyond our materiality, which is sick, you can live happily. So that's the discourse that we were discussing a few months back. Girimananda Sutta, or 10 Perception Sutta discourse. That is the medicine that Blessed One has given to Venerable Girimana. So what you're saying is right. You don't feel sickness. Or even if you feel the body, you will very, very clearly see what sort of elements that are functioning within the body. How much of heat, how much of water, and how much of heated water is working, how much of air is heated in the body. Lots and lots of elements that are working in the body when we are sick, we can very clearly observe. Good observation. And you can't do that observation if you don't practice. So this is why the Blessed One says, under all the circumstances, practice and see. There is something to learn.
I have another question, Uncle. So in the past, when I've been sick, like I've tried to do walking and sitting, and it's happened a couple of times when I'm sick, where I set the alarm for 1 hour walking, and I get maybe half an hour, 45 minutes, and I can't physically do anymore. So I give up, and that's the point where I don't do any more meditation. If there is something like that, is it okay for me to drop the walking and just do the sitting?
Don't just do sitting. keep walking until such time you really feel weak, that you can't do walking anymore, and then come and sit. But don't completely give up walking. At least for 5-10 minutes. Because it gives bit of an energy for your sitting practice. And also it challenges the mind, because all these are created by the mind. So don't be very strict that you should do 1 hour of walking and 1 hour of sitting. Under the circumstances, it is hard to walk. So, but still just do few laps, 10-15 minutes, and then come and sit for 1 hour. That's all right. That's okay.
Thank you, Uncle.
Much merit, Teruwan Saramani. Tarangal Lahiru, want to say something?
So thank you very much for letting me know about these sessions.
Yep.
Can you hear me here?
Yeah, very well.
Okay, right. So I just started this mindful sitting and walking about a month ago.
Yeah.
So the biggest problem I had was dealing with the thoughts that are coming at like 100 miles an hour and multiples of them. So I realized that it's very difficult to tame them. So what I started doing was to just observe how long they stay, how complicated they get, how long each thought lasts, and so on and so forth. So I think now I'm just beginning to have peace with those thoughts that are hitting me. So it's a slow progress, but this kind of discussion is actually helpful, I think, to prepare me for the real takeoff.
Yeah.
So thank you very much, Mr. Amarnath.
My pleasure. And with the comment you made, I would like to say, when you're not fighting with the thoughts, when you observe the thoughts, he said you are checking more details of the thoughts. If you can avoid that and just observe the thought just as a thought. Does it make sense?
It makes sense. I'm just wondering how I can do it at that moment. At that frame of time, at that very short frame of mind.
What you can do there is, now when you try to see the nitty-gritty of the thoughts, that is exactly what the mind wants to do. Take you away from that boring object of breath and put your mind to something that you enjoy or something that you can do. So far as breath is concerned, or observation of the breath is concerned, it is something which we have 24/7, which we have not given any prominence because it is not having any sensual satisfaction. But compared to that, thoughts are having some sensual satisfaction. So therefore, mind wants to have that entertainment rather than observing that boring breath. So if you have done the right thing without fighting with the thoughts, you have started observing them. but that observation has gone a bit further to classify and analyze and segregate the thoughts. What I said was just to avoid that. How you avoid that is, when you have thoughts, you will know that it is a thought only after some time. And then what you can do is, you are aware that the thinking is happening. It is not that you have purposely done. As you said, it is coming billions of thoughts in a millisecond. So at that speed, you can't observe. Only thing you can do is, I'm sure you have watched movies. As you are watching a movie, you just be away from the thoughts, let the mind to think, and you just observe what is going on. Let it think whatever it wants. But you just take a step back, you go to the balcony and watch the movie and ask the mind to think as much as it wants. You will be simply observed. And what Bhante Dhammajiva says is, you will have to observe like a third umpire. In cricket, the camera is going all over the pitch, all over the ground, all over the pavilion, and observe everything is happening. Recording everything is happening. It is not getting involved with the match, or the spectators, or the umpires, or the players, oppositions. Camera doesn't get involved. The same way, we should not get involved with the thoughts, but let the mind think. We will record, we will just observe. So I think I have given a bit of a hint how to do it. Does it make sense more?
Yes. I'm trying to detach myself from the feeling. Just I'm getting to the point that you just described about as if a third person is watching it. So I'll try that next time.
Yeah. It may not be straight away possible, but it is something when you keep on practicing, it is definitely practical.
Yes.
Thank you. Thanks for joining.
It's helpful. It's very helpful. Yes. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, uncle. From one word from my end as well, I also feel after first second days, the feeling I had, how I understand and also doing the practices and improving myself. So it gained a lot as well. And when I control myself, when if in any case, if there is something coming to my mind, and also it helps a lot to how to mitigate this stuff and how to let the thoughts to be there, and like concentration from my end, and it feel me a lot like as a fresh start. So once I do these things and getting back to the work, so it helped me a lot as a fresh start. So yeah, with the practice I think I can go deeper and also get understanding this stuff, because from at this level I noticed, and also I felt most of the cases which I can improve, and also with the practice I think I can go ahead with the improvements.
No, it's very good. I know you have started very recently, like Taranga. Only thing we will have to do is we will have to maintain a timetable on a daily basis. I know it is a bit hard in Sri Lanka, but take a time slot that is most convenient to you, either in the morning or in the evening. Based on the number of hours available, divide that time into two. 50% of that for walking, 50% of that for sitting. Say you have only half an hour, and of that half an hour, 15 minutes walking, 15 minutes sitting. And that continuous practice gives you a tremendous improvement, and that will be, you will be able to gradually increase that took 1 hour easily, 1 hour walking, 1 hour sitting. Because I remember when I started with 5 minutes. Sitting for 5 minutes was also like sitting for 5 years. So difficult. And those days we did not have anybody to talk, anybody to tell. But now you have a lot of resources and a lot of supports. So only thing that has to be incorporated into life is continuous practice.
Thank you, Uncle, for the guidance and following up us.
Right. Theruvan Saranai. I think we have almost come to the end. Now it's 8:15. Is there any further questions? Yeah. If there are no questions, it's good that we took about at least 40 minutes, 45 minutes for the discussion. So I'm not going to continue with the talk now because I mainly wanted to clarify whatever doubts we had before we get onto the talk. And the other reason was those who have given the topic is not there. So therefore I did not start the talk. So next time we will start with the talk and then continue the session. And next we are meeting on the 4th July. Is that correct, Chatu?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it is 4th July. Anyway, Tharanga, we have a small private group, which is a Facebook group. Would you like to join that? Or do you want me to let you know in an email?
Yeah, join. Yes, please let me know.
Yeah, I will search you in the Facebook. Is it Tharanga Gunaratna or Tharanga KG or KG Tharanga?
Tharanga Gunaratna. There might be a K. Yes.
Yeah. All right. I will search you and send you a friend request, and then put you to the group so that you will be receiving all the updates from there.
Okay. Under what name will you send the invite? Is it something?
No, it will be my request from me.
Okay.
Then once you become one of my friends, then I'll be able to possibly add to that group because it's a private group.
Okay.
It's not publicly available, so I can't add anybody without first becoming a friend of mine.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. So traditionally, since all of us are from the same background, we transfer merits at the end of this session. So we will chant the stanzas to transfer these tremendous amount of positive energies that we have generated through the practice and through the discussions to whoever who has helped us in this noble Dhamma practice. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So you can chant with me. Ittavata chamme sambadam punya sampadam sabbe devanumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Ittavata chamme sambadam punya sampadam sabbe bhutanumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Ittavata chamme sambadam punya sampadam sabbe sattanumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Akasatta cha bummatta devanaga mahittika punyantang anumoditva chiran rakkantu buddha sasana. Akasatta cha bummatta devanaga mahittika Punyantang anumoditva chiran rakkantu buddha desanam. Akasata cha bummatta devanaga mahitika. Punyantang anumoditva chiran rakkantu buddha savakam. Idang o nyati nang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo. Idang ho nyati nang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo. Idang ho nyati nang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo. Imina punya kammena mame bala samagamo. Satang samagamo hotu yavanibbana pattiya. Imina punya kammena mame bala samagamo. Satan samagamo hotu yavanibbana pattiya. Imina punya kammena mame bala samagamo. Satan samagamo hotu yavanibbana pattiya. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Teruvan Saranai, everybody.
Thank you, Uncle.
Thank you, Uncle. Teruvan Saranai.
Teruvan
Thank you.
Saranai.
Thank you very much.
Teruvan Saranai.